Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be talking about Batman Superman World's Finest issue 38 by Mark Waid, Clayton Henry and Tamara Bonvillain. DC All-In's first big event begins right here with We Are Yesterday, Mark Waid's crossover with his Justice League Unlimited book. Things get off to an explosive start as in Gotham, Clark Kent covers the story of Wayne Aeronautics' new reconnaissance plane, interviewing Bruce Wayne about the test flight. Doing the test is Hal Jordan, who wants to push the plane to its limit. Bruce explains that the plane will be able to circumnavigate the world in 8 hours, if the tests go well, that is. I love the little jabs that Bruce and Clark both give each other here, since obviously they know who each other really are, and Clark isn't letting Bruce off easy just because he knows him, wanting him to comment on the plane and what it could do, jokingly writing about how Bruce pats himself on the back a lot. Clark quietly asks if he's worried about leaving the plane in Hal's hands, being he's quite reckless, but Bruce isn't too worried since if the plane does crash, Hal's Green Lantern ring will save himself and the multi-billion-dollar jet. Clark, however, reminds Bruce that Hal doesn't fly with his ring since it spoils his thrill, something Bruce apparently didn't know, which makes him very worried now. Hal meanwhile reports back that the plane is on schedule, but it chews through fuel pretty quickly. As he comes in for landing, something happens and he believes it's light radiation, which causes the computers in the jet to malfunction. Unable to regain control though, Hal ejects from the plane as it explodes, parachuting to safety. Clark keeps an eye on him with his telescopic vision, planning on having Superman go out and save him soon, when suddenly Hal just fades out of existence. Mission Control tries to get a bead on him and soon the cameras in Hal's jumpsuit return, revealing he's in some type of jungle. Hal is then suddenly grabbed by a giant gorilla, better known as Gorilla Grodd, who believes Hal is there as some sort of spy. He proclaims that his people are Earth's superior race, and along with the rest of the Gorilla City and its people, he proclaims war on the human race. Now this was an exciting beginning, especially since it doesn't feel like a big event. This just feels like Waid is just writing a World's Finest arc that's now, instead of like last couple of issues was centered on Atlantis, this one's centered on Gorilla City and Gorilla Grodd, Solivar, and Flash. I was worried we might lose some of that magic that makes World's Finest a great book, where each arc just feels like an episode of the Justice League Unlimited cartoon, but this is exactly that. Like, this is the opening before the credits. Later on, Superman and Flash speed into the jungle, where Barry fills Superman in on Grodd and Gorilla City, hidden city within the jungle, hoping they can get to the city and how quickly before the neighboring armies come to investigate the now exposed Gorilla City. Flash tells Superman and the arriving Batman about Grodd's powers and how it makes him a very dangerous villain, and now he's taken Hal hostage, has sealed Gorilla City's cloaking field and has cut them off. Luckily, Flash vibrates the heroes through the shield, where they are immediately confronted by the armed gorilla soldiers. Like we've seen across all of this book, Waid isn't afraid to bring in other heroes and make them part of the World's Finest, since World's Finest here doesn't just refer to Batman and Superman. It is actually all the heroes in this book, and Flash coming in to aid with Gorilla City is just, a no-brainer. Of course you'd call the guy in who, has dealt with these characters on a daily basis. Superman and Flash use their super speed to disarm the gorillas and demand they be taken to their leader, but it's revealed that Grodd is ready for the Man of Steel, unleashing Titano, whose kryptonite eyes blast Superman, weakening the hero. Now this is a very fun thing to do. This is the first meeting of Superman and Titano in the timeline, and on top of that, this is actually the original Titano, the one that's, been turned from a real monkey into a giant monkey by space radiation. Is not the cyborg one that we usually see Superman fight. I figured we would see Titano sooner or later, and I like that how they've included him here as like a kind of a prisoner to Grodd, where he's under Grodd's control and being used as a weapon against Superman. Feels like Grodd has all his bases covered here, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got maybe some help from the future, from his future self, and that might be where the crossover comes into. Speaking of the crossover, up until now, there hasn't actually been any crossover material. This is just a standard World's Finest book, which is cool, and I like that Waid isn't just throwing us right into the event and, digging it right into it. We're just kind of building up to it, kind of like how in the Justice League Unlimited book he built up to the Inferno reveal that they were the Legion of Doom, and then set this event up in that book after 5 issues. Flash meanwhile finds Grodd has killed some of his people to get what he wants, discovering the villain is locked in a chair surrounded by a force bubble he can't seem to get through. Elsewhere, Batman quietly makes his way into the holding cells and frees Hal and King Solivar, who reveals that Grodd escaped prison and raided his armory, killing a few soldiers on the way, but for what reason he doesn't exactly know yet. Flash contacts Batman about Grodd, finding that he's just immobile in his science lab chair surrounded by a force field, so he's no threat. Barry doesn't understand how he could have done all this if he's like this and not prepared for war at all. But it all begins to click with Batman as he remembers Flash told him that Grodd can mind swap with people, meaning he's already done it, and the Grodd in the science lab is just an empty husk. Grodd, now in the body of one of his soldiers, makes Titano fall asleep with a click of a button thanks to the collar he wears around his neck. Flash realizes Grodd's plan now and what he needs to take over the world as Grodd mind swaps with Superman, taking over the Man of Steel's body, finding the indestructible Kryptonian body amazing. This is all classic cartoon plot, the villain mind-swapping plot with the hero. It's, it works flawlessly. We've seen it a dozen times. It's always a load of fun since it allows, the hero to act like a villain for a little bit, and that's exactly what we get here as the French military invade Gorilla City, having seen it pop up on the map. Grodd comes for them, intent on having Superman kill them. Flash is faster though, saving the soldiers and revealing that they know Grodd is inside Superman's mind. Batman takes command of the situation, getting Solivar to find a way to rewire Titano's collar and get him to help out, while he and Hal literally punch their way through Grodd's soldiers. I like that Hal hasn't actually called in his ring this whole time yet. He's just fighting the gorillas barehanded, probably because it gives him a bit of a thrill, like how flying without the ring gives him a thrill, and it's just awesome just to see normal Hal Jordan here just fighting gorillas. Also, it's not lost on me that he's a test pilot, he's fighting gorillas, he's very much like Charlton Heston in Planet of the Apes. I think that's a really cool reference. Grodd, meanwhile, can't help but fight Flash, wanting his old enemy to be the first victim of his new world order. Grodd's monologuing buys the hero some time as Titano is rewired, blasting Superman with kryptonite beams again. Batman demands that Grodd leave his body as he lays on the kryptonite, and Hal fires his gun at his friend as well. Grodd refuses to lose again, knowing Batman won't dare hurt or even kill Superman. Grodd is actually right here though, as Batman doesn't want to kill Superman and he hesitates, and it causes Solivar to attack him, revealing that he won't hesitate. He takes over command of Titano and has him blast him with kryptonite again, claiming he's going to finally kill Grodd in the name of survival, since if they rescue Superman, Grodd will continue his rampage. Batman figures that if Grodd is in there, Superman will be in Grodd's comatose body back at the lab, so they need to find a way to jumpstart a return mind swap. Flash knows he has an idea and it's a 1,000,000 to 1 shot, but Batman will take those odds, sending Flash off to the lab. Flash's vibration powers get pretty good use throughout this entire issue. He uses them to get into Gorilla City, and he's using them to take down some various enemies throughout the whole issue. And here he uses them in a really cool way, as he grabs the comatose Grodd body and races back to Superman, vibrating Grodd's body with Superman's, forcing Grodd's mind to link back to his original body, reverting him back to Gorilla Grodd. Flash takes the villain out as Batman stops Solivar's attack on Superman as the threat has finally been ended. Later on, as Titano is imprisoned again, the heroes discuss the ramifications of Grodd's attack, as now the world knows all about Gorilla City. While Superman was able to use his Justice League clout to pull back the world's armies, they now know all about Gorilla City. So Solivar is going to have to reach out and make some alliances with people. Solivar agrees to do just that, and also to help out with Titano and cure him of his kryptonite powers. He's also warned about Grodd, told by the heroes to keep a very close watch on him. Now finally here in the last page does the event begin to encroach in the story, as Grodd is locked up in prison in Gorilla City. And it's there he's visited by his future self, who remembers this actually happening and who, thanks to Martian Manhunter's powers, is able to travel back through time. time and enter his past self's mind, telling him that he's there to make his past self's dreams come true, make the world where Gorilla Grodd reigns supreme. So this is actually cool since it positions Grodd as the big villain of the event, since when he first appeared back in the most recent Justice League Unlimited issue, it just seemed like he was working with the Legion of Doom and just was part of their plan. But here, this kind of recontextualizes it as all Grodd's plan, and this is all Grodd trying to get back at the heroes for this event, for them stopping him at this point in time, which is really damn cool because, to my knowledge, Grodd has not been a main villain of like the DCU as like a big summer event villain at all. I don't think he has. He's been part of big summer events, but he's not been the main villain. So I think it's really cool that we're focusing on him. Grodd also using the Legion to forward his own plans and then using Manhunter's powers to ensure it all goes off without a hitch is just so interesting of an event setup. Especially thanks to a lot of the build-up that was done with Inferno and the Legion in the Justice League book. So like the ground is now set, and where this story goes, I have no idea, but I'm very much looking forward to seeing what Mark Waid has in store for us. Batman Superman World's Finest issue 38, while it begun the We Are Yesterday event, was really just a run-of-the-mill World's Finest issue, filled with cool team-ups, interesting villains, fun action. I love that Waid didn't let the idea of a summer crossover ruin the heart of his ongoing here, and he's positioned Grodd as the main villain, which is just so refreshing and different than what we usually get. It's not just another Brainiac or Lex-centric event. It's a different villain, and the event seems like it's going to be a little bit different this time around with, you know, a book set in the past and one set in the present, which is a fun concept. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10.